Today is the 14th of April 2022. It's 8 years today that Chibok girls were abducted. Girls who went to school to get education instead got abduction. The government moved on. The government was uncaring. A lot of people, Nigerian citizens, didn't bother because it didn't affect them. They didn't care because they were children of the poor. Nigeria is a country where if you're poor, you're faceless, nameless, and voiceless. You do not matter. And citizens that are supposed to come together, band it together, be together, and be there for each other, have each other's back, have refused to do that. We have allowed our government to be incompetent, our government to be clueless, our government to be corrupt, our government to be a failure. We have refused to stand for one another. We have refused to ensure that the right thing is being done. People are angry when a president who is a failure is called a president, if that is a failure. People are angry that an incompetent president is called incompetent. People are angry that a clueless president is called clueless. People are angry that a careless president is called careless. People are angry that a heartless president is called heartless. People are angry. They call those things insults. Those things are not insults. They are a statement of fact. We have a president who is callous, who is incompetent, who is insensitive, who does not care about the lives of people. Under the tree, our own fellow citizens are sitting under the tree. They have been there since March 28. They were taken away from a train. Up till now, the president hasn't said a word. And people are bothered that the president who is incompetent, who is such a failure, who is so heartless, is being called incompetent, is being called heartless. They call those things insults. Those things are not insults. Those things are statements of fact. A train attack happened that carried over 900 passengers. Citizens were killed. Some of them abducted. A young lady was shot. She did a tweet and said, "I've been shot. Please pray for me." And yet, carelessness was what a lot of people gave to her. The president hasn't yet said a word. Yeah, he wanted to go and watch man from the reports that we heard. Football mattered than the lives of Nigeria. We have an 85-year-old woman who is with the terrorists right now. We have a woman who is she's about 8 months pregnant that is due for a CS. She's with the terrorists, yet the president, the government hasn't said anything. We have a student who stood. She said she's with the Kaduna State University. She's reading agriculture. Does her life not matter? We stay in our houses, we are breaking our fast, we are eating all sorts of food. We have our daughters with us, they are staying with us. Those that are under the street, are they not human beings? The Prophet ﷺ said, our faith is not complete until we want for our brothers what we want for ourselves. We live in our houses, we are safe inside our houses, and yet we are not feeling the pain of those who are out there. Today, the 14th of April 2022, exactly 8 years, Chibok girls' abduction. 106 are still in captivity. 3 are with government. They've been brought back, but yet they have not been given to their families. And yet, we are moving on as if nothing happened in our country. My daughter said something. On the 1000th day of Chibok girls' abduction, she was 15. She said, as long as Chibok girls are in captivity, we all are in captivity. And will continue to be in captivity until the lives of our fellow citizens matter to us, until we come out to make demands, even when we are not affected. The families of the train passengers are out there making demands. They are crying. How many of us are standing with them? Are we waiting until we become victims before we will know to come out to stand? Are we waiting until we become victims before we will call out an incompetent and insensitive, a careless president that we have in office? People are bothered about what the president is being called. We don't insult presidents. We state what they do, the way they do it. Presidents with empathy will be said to have empathy. Those who do not have will continue to say that. And the question I always ask, who is next? Your child might be with you safe today. Those whose children are not with them right now, their children once was with them. And if we do nothing, we'll continue to embolden the terrorists to come after us, because we have shown that Nigerian lives do not matter. And we'll continue to enable the government and give them enabling environment for them to continue to abdicate their responsibilities. Yesterday's victims were once survivors. Today's victims were yesterday's survivors, and tomorrow's victims will be today's survivors. Who is next?